All right, we're going to start this workout the same way we start any workout, with a dynamic warm-up. This one is a alternating quad pull to help warm up the quadriceps and hip flexors. Then we're going to move into an alternating hand to foot touch. So as you swing your leg up, you're activating the hamstrings, and as you bring your arm down, you're activating the core. So nice sort of full body warm-up movement there. Then we're moving into an archer squat. So you're going to bend down onto one leg into sort of a single leg squat, but laterally, and your opposite leg is just going to be straight. We're going to roll up onto that heel. Feel a nice big opening up of the hips and warming up those big adductor muscles on the inside of the leg in the groin area. And adding a little arm swing here just to help get the shoulders and chest muscles warm. Then we're going to do a figure four pull. So this is just grabbing on the lower leg. Notice I'm not grabbing the foot, grabbing on the lower leg near the ankle and pulling up towards the sky. This is just helping warm up the external rotator muscles in the hip area. Then we're going to move into a windmill squat. So getting down into a nice deep squat, 90-degree bend in the knees or so, keeping the arms out straight, and then we're just going to rotate one hand to the floor, one hand to the sky as much as you can. As you can see here, I struggle a little bit with my thoracic mobility, so hopefully you can get a little further than I can there. Then we're going to do some heel paddles. So this is just getting down onto your hands and feet, hinging at the waist, and then we're just paddling those heels up and down. Great exercise to help warm up the calf and soleus muscles in the lower back part of the leg. Also warms up the foot muscles a bit. Next, we're going to find where the bottom of our squat is today with a good old squat hold. So for these, you start out at feet at hip width apart with your toes facing forward. You drive your knees out and get into a deep squat. Once you find the bottom of your squat, you're just going to push your arms up above your head and see what your thoracic mobility is like and what your shoulder mobility is like. All right, now we're actually getting into the main part of the workout. Our first exercise here is a slow squat with a 5-second hold at 90 degrees. So basically starting out with your feet at hip width apart, you're going to drive those knees out. Find that nice 90-degree angle in the knee where the thighs are parallel to the ground, and you can put your arms wherever you're comfortable. I like to put mine out in front of me for balance. So you can see here from the side, feet at hip width apart, toes facing forward, knees go out. Get down to that nice 90-degree angle and pause for 5 seconds. And notice when it come up, those glutes are squeezing at the top of the movement. So come all the way up. I always say pop at the top. Pop those hips forward just a little bit, squeeze those glutes, getting everything out of every rep on these that you can. All right, transitioning into a good old push-up here. Our favorite angle in fitness is still 90 degrees, and so we want our hands wide enough such that when we go down, we get that nice 90-degree bend in the elbow, as you can see here. And that is a regular push-up. I'll show you a modified version here so you can go down into your knees. The most important thing is keeping that chest over the hands. If you modify, keep that chest over the hands and move your hips down, moving that whole body as one unit. You don't want those hips to stick up in the air on a push-up. Next is a single leg deadlift. Fantastic exercise for strengthening the hamstrings and glutes and also working a little bit on balance. And so you want to do that same pop at the top like we've talked about. A little hinge at the waist on the way down and then really squeeze those glutes at the top. And we're moving right into the good old plank, a nice isometric exercise here. The arms are at shoulder width apart, going to be up on your toes. You want to keep your hips in that sweet spot between your shoulders and the ground. So don't let them sag to the ground. Don't let them raise up above the shoulders. Your neck should be neutral, so just look down at the ground. And don't forget to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right, moving right into dips. You can see I'm bringing a chair over for this. You can use a chair, you can use a couch, you can use a coffee table, stairs, anything that gets you high and up off the ground, such that when you lower yourself down, you're going to hit a elbow 90-degree bend. So heels on the ground, rear end right in front of whatever you're pushing off of, drive all the way up and then through the chest at the top. Make sure you're hitting those nice 90-degree angles at the bottom. Next is a static lunge, nice lower body exercise. We're going to take an exaggerated step forward such that when you lower yourself down like this, you hit about a 90-degree angle in your front leg and a nice big bend in the back leg. Back leg, you just stay on the ball of the foot, and on the front leg, you're going to drive through the middle of the foot. Keep that upper body perpendicular to the ground. Keep your core tight and drive all the way up and through. Next, we're going to move into a back extension. This is kind of like a Superman or Superwoman, but we keep the feet anchored on the ground. So keep those feet anchored. You can see we're driving the abdomen into the ground, bringing that chest up nice and high. And it just keeps the hip flexors out of it when you keep those feet anchored into the ground. Nice big squeeze in the lower back. Okay, next we're moving into a hand walk. So you can see it started out in a standing position, then bend over into a forward fold, and then just walk those hands out until you're in a push-up position. Lower yourself down to a push-up, and then just walk those hands back to that forward fold position. And then we're going to hinge at the waist like we're doing a deadlift, and then squeeze those glutes at the top, pop at the top. Hinge back at the waist like you're getting sliced in half. Walk those hands out. Get in a nice tight core position, then do a big strong push-up and walk those hands back. That 360-degree abdominal pressure is really important here, keeping your abs flexed, keeping your lower back tight, and maintaining your breathing all the way through, in through the nose and out through the mouth. So that core stays tight down, hit your 90-degree angle, drive up, walk those hands back, keeping that core nice and tight and strong all the way through. Hinge at the waist, squeeze those glutes at the top. Standing calf raise here, great exercise for the calves, obviously. You just want to do these with the ball of your foot right on the edge of a couch like this, or a stair, or anything that's sturdy and gives you enough clearance to drop your heel all the way down and get a full range of motion. All right, putting all the pieces together here, last but not least, is the burpee. Nice big compound movement. So for these, you start standing, bend over, put your hands on the ground, kick your feet back, push up, kick your feet back underneath of you, and then jump. So slow motion version here is bend over, hands on the ground, kick the feet back, do your push up, kick the feet back up underneath of you, reach back, and then big jump. All right, good workout. Time to cool down. We're going to start out with the 90-90 movement here. So we're just going to get the shoulders nice and square. 90-90 means 90-degree ankles, 90-degree front leg, 90-degree back leg, bending at the knee. Notice that back knee is pushing into the ground and the heel is coming up off the ground. Then we switch into a rotation and hinge at the waist. So shoulders are square. We're just keeping those knees firmly planted into the ground, leaning forward, coming back to the middle, and then leaning to the side. They are tougher than they look, folks, if you haven't tried this before. Great way to work on hip mobility. And we're just going to whip that leg that was on the side. We're going to bring it all the way around front, lock it behind the knee for our little pretzel stretch here. So shoulders square again. Bring that knee into the chest. Once you get everything nice and lined up, you're going to rotate into that side. So if you've got your right leg crossed, we're going to rotate back to the right side. Great stretch for the glutes here. Next part of the cool down is the cat-cow stretch here. So we're just going to start out with cat, pushing the navel up to the sky as high as you can. Tuck your chin in and roll your hips underneath. Then opposite is the cow. So now we're going to elongate from the neck to the chin and really drive the navel down to the ground. Opposite again, navel up to the sky as high as you can. Tuck your chin in. And then opposite, navel down towards the ground. Let the hips roll out, and we're going to lift and elongate from the neck, chin to the sky. One more time. Rounding the back on purpose, getting that navel up to the sky as high as you can, and then opposite, navel down to the ground, elongate from the neck. And we're going to go from there right into a downward dog. So for these, there's a few different directions happening. We're letting our heels sink to the ground while we're pushing our hips up high and then driving those hands away. So heels are sinking, hips are raising up, hands pushing away. Then from there, we'll just walk into a forward fold. So keeping the legs straight, hinging at the waist, reaching those hands down as far as you can. Don't worry if you can't quite reach the ground. Just get a nice stretch for your hamstrings here. Keeping that breathing going in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right, next we're just going to stretch out the chest here by interlocking the fingers behind the back, and we're just going to raise the arms up. You'll feel a nice big stretch through the chest and shoulders. So showing you the same thing from the side, hands interlocked behind the back, and you can see just reaching up and pulling behind the back to stretch the chest and shoulder muscles. And we'll finish up the cool down with a little breathing exercise here, the power stance position, feet at hip width apart. And we're going to have a nice tight core. Bring your tight fist into your navel, chin up, close your eyes if you like, and then nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Showing you the same thing from the side here. So nice posture, chest out, shoulders back, chin up, tight core, hand into the navel, and nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth.